slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Brian Giles with Brian Giles MTG. And we're back with more Lost Caverns of Ixalan spoilers. And what we have next is another of the Jurassic Park cards. This is Ravenous Tyrannosaurus. A red, a green, and 4 for a 6/6 dinosaur with Devour 3. Then enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice any number of creatures. This creature enters the battlefield with 3 times that many +1/+1 counters on it for each of those creatures. Big old dino. Whenever it attacks, deals damage equal to its power up to 1 other target creature. Excess damage is dealt to that creature's controller instead. So it's a big fight creature that you can, when it enters the battlefield, you can make them big, have it fight something big, and then have the excess damage go to that creature's controller. Hoo-haw. Big dumb dino. This is Ellie and Alan, paleontologists. Green, white, blue, and 2 for a 2/5 legendary human scientist. Tap it to exile a creature card from your graveyard and discover X, where X is the mana value of the exiled card. Activate only as a sorcery. So you exile cards, so you exile a card with the mana value, that mana value or less, and cast it without paying its mana cost, and the rest goes on the bottom of your library in a random order. Then we have Dino DNA. Single mana, artifact with imprint. Pay 1, tap it, exile target creature card from your graveyard, activate only as sorcery. Pay 6, create a token that's a copy of a target creature card, exile with Dino DNA, except it's a 6/6 green dinosaur creature with trample. Now this is an imprint, didn't work real well when it came out. I'm thinking this is going to be a bit better. We're looking at you, Dermotaxi. Then we have Indoraptor, the perfect hybrid. Hybrid green and black and a red and a 1 for a 3/1 legendary dinosaur mutant Bloodthirst X. Enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the amount of damage dealt to your opponents this turn. Has Menace and Enrage. Whenever Indoraptor, the perfect hybrid, is dealt damage, choose an opponent at random who deals damage equal to its power to that player unless they sacrifice a non-token creature. So this thing is not a team player. It is not your friend. It is not the Barney dinosaur everybody wants. No. So here's an interesting artifact in Throne of the Grim Captain. So mill 2 cards, and then you can craft with a dinosaur, a merfolk, a pirate, and a vampire, and 4 generic mana. So you exile that and 4 cards from cards you control or permanents in your graveyard, and return it transformed under owner's control, craft only as a sorcery. It becomes the Grim Captain. So it's a 7/7 skeleton spirit pirate with menace, trample, lifelink, hexproof. When it attacks, each opponent sacrifices a non-land permanent. Then you may put an exiled creature used to craft the Grim Captain onto the battlefield under your control, tapped and attacking. This thing could be absolutely disgustingly bad, especially if you're playing with, all the tribals of Ixalan, which is the dinosaur, the merfolk, the pirates, and the vampires. Seems like it's a lot to get together, but there's some cheap dinos out there. There's definitely some cheap merfolk, some cheap pirates that we've already seen, and cheap vampires. So this card could just be a menace if you have the cards you need and the mana you need. Menace to Ixalan Society. Next up, we have Idol of the Deep King, which is a red and 2 for an artifact with flash. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to any target. And you craft it with another artifact and a red and 2 to have it become the Sovereign's Mahuatil. Still can't get these Mesoamerican names right. It's an artifact equipment. When it enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature control. It's +2/+0 and equipped for 2. So the craft mechanic for flippy cards it's definitely a win for me. Song of Stupefaction. Stupefy. Unstupefy. A blue and 1 for an enchantment aura, enchant creature or vehicle. When it enters the battlefield, you may mill 2 cards. It has Fathomless Descent, enchanted permanent. It gets -X, -0, where X is the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. So, hoo-ha. Next we have Brood Rage Mycoid, a black and 3 for a 4/3 fungus. Beginning of your end step, if you've descended this turn, create a 1/1 black fungus creature token with this creature can't block. So if you descended it with a permanent card, put it into your graveyard from anywhere. So this is going to be part of the whole fungus sapperling type of graveyard love deck, recursion deck. Next up we have Diadact Echo. So kind of expensive blue and 4 for a 3/2 Spirit Cleric. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. And you can descend 4. It has flying as long as there are 4 more permanent cards in your graveyard. You have Miner's Guidewing. This is a cool card. Single white mana. 1/1 bird with flying and vigilance. When it dies, creature you control explores. This means you get to either get a land or a +1/+1 counter. So hoo-ha. Next up we have Water Wind Scout from blue and 2 for a 2/2 Merfolk Scout with flying. When it enters the battlefield, create a map token. which is basically an artifact. You pay 1, you tap it, and sacrifice it to explore. Then we have Bone Horde Dracosaur. 2 red and 3 for a 5/5 dinosaur dragon. Flying and first strike. If your upkeep exiles top 2 cards of your library. You may play them this turn. If you exile the land card this way, create a 3/1 red dinosaur creature token. If you exile a non-land card this way, create a treasure token. So that's a fun little card, especially in dragon decks. Next up is Bringer of the Last Gift. A beefy 2 black and 6 for a 6/6 vampire demon with flying. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, each player sacrifices all other creatures they control. Then each player returns all creature cards from your graveyard that weren't put there this way to the battlefield. So this is kind of a board wipe that returns creature cards that were already in the graveyard before the board wipe. Next up, we have Don't Move. 2 white and 3 for a sorcerer that reads destroy all tapped creatures till your next turn. Whenever a creature becomes tapped, destroy it. Nice Jurassic Park card. Kind of a board wipe for people that attack. Next up, we have Compy Swarm. A black, a green, and 1 for a 2/2 dinosaur. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, create a tapped token that's a copy of Compy Swarm. Next up, we have an interesting little card that I think is going to become very, very popular. This is Poison Dart Frog. For a green and 1, you get a 1/1 frog with reach that you can tap to add a mana of any color, or you can pay 2 and Poison Dart Frog gains Death Touch until end of turn. Which is nice because with a card with reach, you can use your Poison Dart Frog to block it, pump the 2 into it, and it gains Death Touch. And your angel, your dragon, they just go bye-bye. Except we have Old Tech Cloud Guard. A white and 3 for a 3/2 human soldier with flying. When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 colorless gnome artifact creature token. Okay, so it gets kind of a little buddy to go with it. I'll allow that. Next up, we have the Thrashing Bronodon. What? No Colossal Dreadmaw? Will we get Thrashing Bronodon? But the Thrashing Bronodon is actually a cool card. For 2 green and 1, nice reprint. It makes it a 3/4 dinosaur. Pay 1 to sacrifice it for a trigger artifact or enchantment. So, hoo-haw. Next up, This card I noticed in I believe Chinese. That this card, the Bloodletter of Al-Khazat, is 3 black mana and 1 for a 2/4 bat. Yes, it's mythic rare. It has flying. Whenever an opponent would lose life during your turn, they lose twice that much life instead. This card is gonna make waves. I mean, waves. Next up, we have Sinuous Benthsaur, a beefy blue and 5 for a 4/4 dinosaur. Enters the battlefield with the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of caves you control, plus the number of cave cards in your graveyard. Put 2 of those cards into your hand, and the rest of on the bottom of your library in a random order. So it has a good ETB. Cares about the cave cards, so that's really nice. Next up, we have Rampaging Spiketail, a beefy 2 black and 4 for a 5/6 dinosaur. When it enters the battlefield, target creature you control gets +2/+0, gains indestructible till end of turn. It also has swamp cycling, so you can for 2. So you pay 2 generic and search your library for a swamp. Reveal opponent to your hand and shuffle. So hoo-ha. Then we have Dynamoton, a red and 3 for a 4/3 dinosaur gnome with menace. When it enters the battlefield, target creature you control gains menace until end of turn. Hoo-ha. So, next up we have Quados Sayakalo, or Coatl Jackal. So it's in foreign language there. So it's a green and 2 for a 3. 3/2. I don't know what the creature type is. I'm not familiar with that. So it has Descend 4. When it enters the battlefield, there are 4 more permanents in your graveyard. Add target permanent. I guess it's a return target permanent card to your hand. So recursion type stuff. Then we have Spelunkology, which is an enchantment for a green and 2. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card, and you can place a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. If you place a cave this way, gain 4 life. So more cave love. 4 life. And lands you control enter the battlefield untapped. So all your cave lands enter the battlefield untapped. Hoo-ha. This card is going to be a powerhouse. This is going to be a companion to your ramp. I really think that this is going to keep going even after the set is gone. This is going to become a sought after card. It's going to become a staple for ramp. Then we have Preacher of the Schism, which is a black and 2 for a 2/4 vampire cleric with Death Touch. That's not bad. Whenever Preacher of the Schism attacks player with the most life or tied for the most life, create a 1/1 vampire creature token with life link. Sorry for the hiccups. Whenever Preacher of the Schism attacks while you have the most life or tied for the most life, you draw a card and you lose a life. And yeah, it's fun. You get card draw, token creation. Definitely would go with that token god. Then we have Deep Root Pilgrimage. Blue and 1 for an enchantment that reads whenever one or more non-token merfolk you control become tapped. Create a 1/1 blue merfolk creature token with hexproof. Ooh, more token love. Well, we're over 20 minutes now, almost 21 minutes. We'll see you on the next video.